Big 3-0, guys. Welcome to another episode of Due Diligence After Dark. We are your host, Philip Ty and Tim Yu. We are serial entrepreneurs with a background in real estate investing. Combined, we probably did over probably 400 or 500 transactions at this point between you and I. Fixing and flipping, rentals, wholesaling, lending as well. So you guys name it. And we have a pretty cool surprise for you guys. Well, not a surprise, more like a technical call, a little of a live stream. We're going to be going over what we've been building for our community. And if you guys want a link to that, it will be in the description below. Our New Breed Investor community is in the description below. So make sure you guys check that out if you guys want to jump in and upgrade your real estate investing or if you're starting. So either one. Feel free to do that. So, what do we have on the docket for today, Tim?
Yeah, we're talking about like systems today, right? Like a lot of
Yeah.
people need systems or they say that they need systems to scale their business and they don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
And there's so many CRMs or so many products, so many services out there to kind of help you with that.
Yep.
And we made some massive improvements in our systems to kind
Yeah.
of help out not just our own businesses but also like people in our communities, and just talk about the different things that you need to think about. It's kind of like the AI discussion, right? Like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
implement AI, but like not understanding how like a real estate business operates. So you can't build like an automation if you don't understand
Your
how it
business.
works.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but yeah, we made some really cool updates. Like a lot of us do outbound marketing, right? So we do texting, cold calling, email, all that stuff. And we've made a ton of different changes with the software, thinking about
Yep.
what's the best way to actually operate a wholesale business or flipping business
Yeah.
with a CRM, right? So I don't even know where to start. Like,
I
there's just
mean,
so many different things to talk about.
well, yeah. I mean, we can open that up. Like, I don't know if it's a good idea to show our CRM in the chat. Like, what do you guys want? I mean, we can take a little tour, little test drive, right? Um, So you want me to share it, or
I
what's?
got
Should I
it.
share
I
it?
have it
Okay.
pulled
Yep.
up.
Okay. All right.
So, like, the big thing is like when you guys have a CRM, right? Everyone wants to automate their CRM.
Yeah.
And I will say that there's two different ways to build out a CRM, right? The first way, like I'll share my screen here. The
Yeah, dude.
first way is you can always hire someone to do it, right?
Yep.
Like we have full-time developers on our team that we pay 40 hours a week and they help our clients kind of fix things, move
Yep.
automations around, and also build things that we think
Mm-hmm.
should be like a good fit, right?
Yep.
And then the second way is you can obviously pay for a CRM, but there's some different things that you have to look at. Like we build all the different workflows in the CRM to replicate the super tedious things. And I think that's how you guys have to think
Yeah.
about things in terms of how to manage or build a CRM if you decide to build it is what are the things that you do on a day-to-day basis that freaking suck or just suck a lot of time away,
Yep.
and that's what you want to build, right? And like how does your business actually operate? So I'll kind of start with like pipelines, right?
We'll add to this too as well. Like the goal here is to buy back your time as quickly as you possibly can by automating things in your business, so that you can focus on the more money making activities that actually bring you revenue, grow the business, and the other things, you can automate. So that's the general consensus is what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish with the CRM, with any system in that regards.
Yeah, like if you were to build a CRM like from the ground up, right, you would need to understand like how your business flows. So like
Yep.
for us, like you don't want to have all of your leads that are cold in one gigantic automate or one gigantic pipeline because
Yeah.
your team or yourself won't be able to track like who's
Yeah.
actually a real lead or not. So we actually split, how we lead handle. Like it's literally called lead handling, right? These are
Yeah.
all the different leads that come in. It literally tells you word for word like what you're dealing with. It's a new unworked lead. You're trying to contact them. You've talked to them, but you're still trying to qualify to see if they're actually wanting to sell. And for us, when they actually want to sell, we call this a net lead, right? This is who wants to sell. And when a lead goes into this column, they will actually move to the acquisition pipeline. So we have a separate pipeline for cold handling data, leads, whatever, and then you have an actual pipeline to track, your actual opportunities that actually want to speak to you, and you can see how the pipelines are different,
Yeah.
right? These are newly qualified leads. You've gone through the discovery process with them. Maybe you need to follow up with them. Maybe you need to send an offer. But this is the actual acquisition pipeline versus a marketing pipeline. And I think that's like the
Yep.
biggest separation that I want you guys to kind of understand is that your acquisition pipeline is not the same as your acquisitions or your
100%.
marketing pipeline.
Yep.
And that's like a pretty big thing. And obviously, if you do get a contract signed, you know, how do you track your leads all the way through to assigning your buyer? Did they submit the EMD? Are you getting, are you going to get paid, right? Did the contract close or get canceled? Like there's so many things to track. But if you notice, we only have 4 pipelines or 5 pipelines.
Yep.
You
Keep
don't
it simple.
need 100 different pipelines. And Alex Ramosi actually taught us this personally, right? Is when you're having a CRM, it's okay to have one pipeline to manage 1,000, 2,000 leads, but it matters about how you tag them,
Yeah.
right? And tracking all your stuff. So, like, this is obviously an empty snapshot that we have in our account, but let's say you have 10,000 leads in here and you only want to call foreclosure. You can literally filter out foreclosure because the way that our CRM is built is as leads come through, it's being tagged the right type of lead type. And you may be wondering, like, well, if you have so many different leads, so many different marketing channels, how do you track that too? So we tag those as well. So if we are looking at an inbound lead, we would
Yep.
just filter out inbound. If you're running SEO, we have leads that come in through SEO, and you literally can just search your pipeline if you're tagging everything right. And I'll kind of give you guys a snapshot of
Yeah,
kind of
dude.
like a sample of like how we tag things. Like we track everything. Like was it an inbound Facebook lead? Was it direct mail? Did we get this lead from cold calling, right? There's
Yeah.
so many different things you could do. And then also where this lead came from. Like are you using Data Syndicate? Are you using Facebook, PPC? Like the tagging system is actually the way to truly sort out your data, not just by having multiple pipelines. Because that's how we used to run our business, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
how we used to run. We had 6 different pipelines for each lead type, and that's not sustainable.
It's not. I think also like guys, you guys can take this and run with it. You guys can create your own things with it. By the way, like if you look at our system, we are very intentional when it comes down to tagging, how we view the life cycle of a lead from start to finish. Because obviously, you don't want to manage all the cold leads meaning like outbound marketing, and then it's just really chaotic if you just go through the whole process and you're like, where's my lead again? You're gonna have to have another bucket per se to store the people that actually raise their hand that wants to sell their property versus the people that are like tire kickers or can't get a hold of. So we really thought this through. We actually ran this through a bunch of AI models as well. So to give you guys more context, to give it to you for free in a sense, you guys can do it yourself. We ran it through AI models. We ran it through acquisition.com models. Like we actually are very diligent when it came down to providing the best workflows that we can provide not only for us but also for our community. So just take that and like that's our genuine research on why we're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's, when you're building out something,
Yeah.
a system, AI, automation, whatever the case may be, like, you know, we we have to go through the pain first,
Yeah,
right? And
exactly.
and trying to figure out like what's actually working and what's not. Like, we have AI bots that are built out. We have different bots for different things. Like we have a bot for county records if you're doing outbound. If you're doing, direct to agent, we have a bot as well. And there's so many different things to like work with AI, but it's like, how do you figure out which bot to use? And we have a very complicated
Exactly.
tagging system that kind of figures out who's who, what's what. And that's kind of like how you guys have to think is like, if you want to automate something, what problem are you actually experiencing first in your business? And then you can kind of remove that barrier using an automation or a bot, right?
You can also think about it this way too as well. If you have that problem, you think it like literally logical step by step. Okay, first thing I gotta do is log on my computer. Then I gotta go talk to this person, or I gotta send a text message, and then I gotta put this person in this bucket, and then from there I gotta schedule a reminder. Like you gotta think about through all these little things. As you can see here, that as Tim's pulling up the actual thing here, which is looks complex, but and once you get into it, it's really not that in a day. I mean, it can be very simple. You do
Yeah,
this layout.
like basically, like we have this huge automation just to sort out the data, right? So
Yep.
basically, if you're loading a bulk data of like 10,000 leads, and this is actually a good point too, is like how do you clean your data? How do you manage your data? Because if you threw 10,000 leads into a system without any sort of like organization, your
Yep.
system's not going to be able to like sort it out, right? It has to read your data and have it all mapped together to kind of understand like what you're actually dealing with. So for us, like we tell all our students, like if you're using batch leads, if you're using PropStream or data syndicate data, before you load the data, we tell them to actually open up a new column and
Yep.
actually put a column called data provider
Yep.
and in the data where you're getting your data from. So if you're using data syndicate, you would make a new column and put data syndicate throughout the whole pipeline. And then when you put your data through this automation, it actually can read what data provider you're using and tag it accordingly, right? So I always talk about tagging. Like this is how you kind of control what you're dealing with. And if you're tagging things correctly, you know exactly which data is making you money, which data you're wasting your money on, which marketing channel sucks, and you can't do that unless you are managingly or smartly tagging and tracking all your leads. I don't know
Yep.
if that made
100%.
sense. That was like weird English.
Essentially, conciseness is basically tagging. Think of it as a a calling mechanism, like a mechanism where you can utilize in your CRM to trigger workflows. Right. Depending on
Yep.
what you, yep. Depending on how you tag your system, how you name it. Naming conventions also very important. You just don't want to name it like XYZ123, right? You want to have very structured naming, so it's very easy to read and very like intuitive in my opinion. But obviously, as you go through and build your own systems, it'll become better and better and better. So, yeah.
Yeah, like if you look at our automations, like okay, so if you looked at our folders, these are all of our different automation that we built within our CRM, and
Yep.
we've gone through at least three massive updates, and
Yeah.
we're this is like our biggest update that we had, and I'm sure there's gonna be changes down the road, but when you look at our data now, it is way more organized, right? You have,
Yep.
an automation to sort out your data. You have your AI robots. You have, if you're a direct to agent investor, we have
Yep.
automations built for that. And then there's folders just for outreach, right? This is all of our marketing workflows, all of our text campaigns, all the copy that we wrote, all the different variations, how to nurture leads. We have inbound leads coming in. So if you have SEO, Facebook leads, all these things coming in, we have inbound
Yep.
automations for you built out as well. When people text you, it gives you the confirmation emails and text messages. We can track who's a positive text message, negative text message, which is really huge if you're doing
Yeah.
outbound.
It is.
All these different things that we thought about as we were marketing ourselves and trying to make a system that supports all that, right? Absolutely crazy building out a
Yeah.
CRM, I'll tell you.
I know, because you got to think about all the permutations, all the edge cases, all the cases that you are doing on a day-to-day basis that you don't even think about. And when you actually have to put pen to paper, you're like, oh, snap, how does this go again? And if you're not aware of that, then you're going to be building kind of automations that don't flow very well. And when it doesn't flow very well, then you're going to have bugs. You're going to have things fall down the crack. And it's a very tedious process because you got to build it, then test it, and then build it again, and then test it, and then reiterate like over and over again. And sometimes you got to scrap the damn thing and then start all over again. It doesn't work because
Yeah, that's
we
basically
found
what we
that out.
did. I mean, we
Yeah.
we restarted everything, and like basically another thing too to think about is whatever serum you use, either Resimply, Go High Level,
Yeah.
whatever software you
Podio,
use, even
whatever.
Podio,
Yeah.
is it's not going to do the work for you.
Yep.
Like having a CRM, if you pay three, four, $5,000 for a CRM, it's not going to do the deal for you. Now, what it does do is for me, like personally, right? Like I'm not like it's physically impossible for me to hire all these people to send text messages all day.
Yeah.
Like that's insane, right? So we have an automation that sends out the text messages based off, you know, velocity of text messages, how
Yep.
long we wait per text message, and then also having people that manage those text messages when people respond, because we want to do that golden rule and try to respond between a minute after someone responds. Well,
Yep.
what better way to do it than using AI text messaging,
Yep.
right? Like these are the things that like we automate, but it doesn't actually do the business for us. Like we still have to close them, we still have to call them,
Mm-hmm.
we still have to follow up, right? It just
Yep.
the software just helps you with it. It doesn't alleviate work for you. Is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
It'll just make you a little bit more productive in a sense of like staying on top of your leads, staying on top of your workflows, etc. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows about that, but like if you're like don't know what a CRM is, like you've been living under a rock or something like that. So just be aware that there's systems and processes out there to make your life a little bit easier as a business owner. I know probably a lot of you can say like baby boomers, they don't really have a CRM sometimes. They just have pen and paper and they just basically go off pen and paper. Like they have to like, oh, I got to call John today because it's in my notebook. So I mean, I say all to say that like it's a process. You still got to do work, and over time it should become easier and easier. Like
Yep.
bottom line,
Hundred
yeah,
percent, 100%. So like,
yeah.
oh, sorry,
Yeah, I was gonna
you
say
can go.
like, I was gonna say like there's also things that we discovered in building out this CRM that I think not a lot of owners have discovered, like the whole marketing and the whole batching that we end up, doing. When it comes to batching, I mean, like we try to mimic as real as possible to simulate a person sending a text message, right? Because obviously today everybody can just do a blast and you can send 250 text messages to 250 people, right? But let me ask you, is that realistic in real life? Is absolutely
No.
not. Exactly, no. So Tim is like the marketing genius as he is, he's basically thought about like, okay, what are the carriers looking at? How are they distinguishing, bots and humans? And this is the formula, guys. Like, I'm giving you guys a sauce here. If you guys want to make your CRM like non-spammy, in compliance, you want to mimic a human action, human interaction as if they're texting. And you can decipher that however you want. But like one text message, probably depending on how long it is, 10 to 30 seconds each, right? And then you maybe have a break in between because you're not texting like every minute, right? Just
Yep.
give it some thought. So I'll let you kind of speak
Yeah.
to that, Tim.
No, that's a good point, right? So if you guys are automating your text messages and like most CRMs, I will tell you, or have no drip, right? So if you put a
Yep.
thousand leads in a system
Yeah.
and you start a text message automation, the CRM is not going to know how to drip, right? It's just going
Yep.
to send 10,000 text messages at once. And what Phil was saying is absolutely right. Like you got to understand if you're doing any sort of marketing, inbound, texting, outbound calling, all that stuff, you need to understand like the science behind the marketing and like how the world is changing. So 10 years ago, you could make
Yeah.
$1 million a month just texting because there was no regulation on it, right? Phone
100%.
carriers, like it was just the beginning. Like everyone remembers a time. I mean, we all get text messages now, but it was so bad years ago where there was no control. Like you were just getting spammed. Anytime you signed up for something, you're getting blown up nonstop on your phone.
100%.
And phone carriers are trying to protect their users, right? Has anybody seen that new iPhone update? If you guys haven't updated your phone at this point, like you're never gonna see it. But if you look at your iPhone and you do the update, there's literally text messages that have unknown senders.
Yep.
Like it literally hides your text messages now if you have an iPhone and it's a non-person that you don't talk to regularly. And the reason why they're doing this is because people are getting pissed. People
Yeah.
don't want to get text messaged all the time. They don't want to get cold calls, right? And Google, if you use a Google phone, like literally, if you call my wife as a cold caller, it goes to that automatic voice bot that's like, leave a
Yeah.
voicemail and see if, they'll pick up. And the phone carriers are doing this because, yes, they don't want their customers to get blown up on the phone from telemarketers. So,
Yeah.
how do you get by that? And it's trying to mimic real people, real life text messaging where we only send 100 text messages a day per cell phone number that we own. So we buy a ton of phone numbers from Go High Level or
Yep.
Wave Cold Caller Dialer, whatever. And we limit on how many text messages or phone calls we make per phone per day, right? Because no human being is going to dial 1,000 sellers with one phone number. Like that's just
Yeah.
not like
Especially in one day. Yeah.
in one day, right? So
It's
that
just,
gives you some robotic, tendencies, and you're gonna get marked as spam.
and I would add to this, like, guys, slow is fast, and slow is going to be smooth. Like, if you continue on this path of like just doing 100 per day, that shit stacks up. By the end of the week, you'll dial 700 people or whatever it is going to be, right? That shit adds up, and over time, your your number is going to be good. And if the obviously depends on the pickup rate, depends on a bunch of other stuff, but over time you're not going to be marked as spam. And honestly, like I feel like this is the way to go because everybody's trying to reach everybody. Everybody's trying to get a deal, which is great. I mean, I'm not bad at you guys, but just consider the ramification that you're going to have to go through in order for you to get this. Like if you go through 1,000 a lead a day, that's like really grueling. So honestly, man, I mean, yeah, it's a smart play, and that's what we did with our serum. We wanted to make sure that we have good compliance and based on regulations, so that our our clients, our students, are able to piggyback off of that, right? So
Yeah, like guys, if you only have 2 hours a day to cold call, right? I'm saying this to the beginners, right? Because people who
yeah,
when they first start, they're either texting or cold calling, whatever. And if you are spending your 2 hours a day cold calling, and you're like, damn, no one's picking up. Like I'm telling you this story because I literally just talked to somebody like 2 days ago about this, and I posted a video on Instagram talking about cold calling because this shit blew my mind. They were cold calling for 6 months, and they were like, "Yo, I get nobody on the phone," and and I'm like, "What time are you calling?" She's like, "I call from 5 to 8 p.m." And I'm like, "Okay, those are really good hours. Like, what's going on?" I then look at her CRM, and I see that she's calling from a non-local area code. So she's calling, Houston data, and she's calling with a different area code than Houston. So do you think, like, statistically, like logically as well, if you are from New York and I see a call from Texas, I'm like, I'm not picking
yeah,
that shit up, right? But if I see someone from New York, I'm probably gonna, my chances of picking up that phone call is probably a little higher, right?
yep,
And that's the first thing that I noticed was you're not calling from a local number. So local presence is huge when you're cold calling.
yep.
And number two, if you don't have multiple phone numbers in your dialer and you use only one dialer and you're calling 500 people a day, your number, this is what phone carriers are doing right now. It's called spam likely,
Yep.
where you dial and your phone number just keeps ringing and the phone carrier actually blocked your phone and you're not even ringing on the other side.
Yeah.
So you're just sitting in your little closet or your office and you're calling for hours and no one's getting your phone call.
That makes sense.
That's what's
That
happening
makes
right
sense.
now.
You
So
know,
that's
another
why.
update. Another update. If you have an iPhone, you can actually record the calls now.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody knows that, but when you hit dial, you can actually, there's like a little panel that pops up. You can actually click on record call. However, it says this call is being recorded. So if you
Yeah, it lets people know for
let people know,
compliance.
yeah. So if you guys are like, on the freemium side, if you guys don't want to get a recorder, I mean, you could just say that too as well. This is on a recorded line for quality insurance, you know.
Yeah,
So
and guys, like, Hermosi loves following compliance, right? So
yeah,
all of his sales reps actually tell you up front, like when they call you, it's like, "Hey man, this is a recorded line. Just want to let you know." And so like, why are you calling today? Like they just roll right into it. Like
yep,
nobody gives a shit that it's recorded.
yeah,
If you don't make it awkward. So when you're calling somebody and they pick up and you want to follow the law and you're recording their call, which most CRMs do, you
Yep.
should just be like, "Hey, I'm calling you on a recorded line. We saw that you filled out our form about selling your house. Like, what's got you thinking about selling?" Like, I just literally
Yep.
told you that I'm recording it and go right into the script. And
Yep.
9 out of 10 times, people are gonna just ignore that you just said that was recorded.
Yeah. They probably ignore the first 3 lines or first 3 seconds and they just think about the last question that you end up asking. And they normally
Exactly.
do, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the recording will pick up you saying that this is a recorded line,
Yep.
and that meets your compliance law, right? To
Yep.
making sure that you let people know. So just little, quick tips here that if you're
Yeah.
thinking about optimizing your outbound marketing here.
Yeah, I think that's really good because like I think a lot of people get stumble like how do I say it's recorded like what how do I say this and what not like pausing and like feeling awkward about it and feeling such and such. So I
Yeah.
think that's a really good nugget for people to take away from if you guys are listening to this. I mean,
Yeah, roll right into it, man. Like, don't
yeah.
feel weird. Like I get on sales calls all the time. I just say, "Hey, man, we're on a recorded line. Just wanted to make sure, blah blah blah," and you just roll into your pitch. Like, "Hey, man, you signed up for this lead magnet. What's got you signing up for it, man? Like
Yep.
what's going on with your business?" And like, they will literally just ignore that you just said that it was recorded.
They don't
Promise you
even
that.
register it. Yep. Don't even register it, man. But yeah, I think that's basically it, guys. I mean, for us, like we spend months on the CRM, like developing it, planning it, implementing it, strategizing it. Like all the nights went into this,
Oh my
and
god.
yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and now we're about to rip some tests on it today, so oof, man, I'm excited for it. I can't wait to use it for myself as well. And
yeah,
I'm just excited to see like the text messages because dude, this is what's freaking nuts, right? Like before we hop off is when you're texting, bro, like we have 36 different variations of text messages.
yeah, yeah.
36
On
variations.
on one lead type.
Oh yeah, one lead type.
So like foreclosure has 60 or 36, and then
Yeah.
pre-foreclosure has 36, and then so on, so on, so on. So it's
Yeah.
like basically like 480 different types of messages that we've kind of built out.
Just dude, and the science behind it is like, phone carriers track the same shit you're saying. So if you guys are using
Yep.
automated text messages, I promise you, they know exactly what message you're sending, and that is not human like as well, right? So you just want to
Well,
make sure how to separate that.
I will say this too, guys. If you guys do happen to go to a different CRM or whatever, make sure you ask that question. How many people in your, client base are using the same text messages? Because guess what? If
That's
they
that's
have
what happened to
like,
us.
yeah, I'll tell you guys straight up. If you have like, a provider that uses the same messages for each of their client, I guarantee you, after the first day, you're gonna go straight to spam.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, if they have 100 clients saying the same thing every single day to different people with different numbers, you're gonna be marked as spam, straight
Yeah,
up.
I mean, I'll be 100% right. Like you know, we had like 3 or 4 clients that had the same text message because we were like, our
Yeah,
text messages are very unique, right?
yeah,
They're very unique to begin with. So like literally, I had sellers because I can see like all the leads responding sometimes. Like I'll
yep,
check from time to time, and I'll say like, "Oh, I already talked to you," or "I already talked to so and
yeah,
so." Like, and they were like confusing each other. So I was like, "All right, we
yeah.
need to like revamp these text messages." Like they're too unique where people in the same market were
Remember,
getting the same stuff, and I'm like, "Oh shit." So, that's just a heads up, right? Is like if you're doing county records, be very personalized with your text messages,
yep,
because that actually gets more responses. So,
it does. At the end of the day, just ask that question. Another gold nugget, just so you don't get reported as spam. And also, guys, call yourself to see if you show up as spam, like straight up.
yeah. Business 101, right? Like if you're cold calling, before you dial for the day, give yourself a health check, right? Call yourself, see if it comes up as spam. Like I don't save my cold call numbers, so like I know
Yeah,
it's always going to be like a raw number that comes through. I just want to see if it comes up as spam or if it shows like my business name or shows my phone number, right? If it's coming up as spam for you, it's coming up for spam for everybody else.
exactly, exactly, guys. Any last words? Anything?
No, man. Optimize your shit, man. Master one marketing channel. Don't do 20 at once. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Good advice. Well, that's it, guys. Appreciate you guys for hopping on episode 26 on Due Diligence After Dark, and we will see you next week. See ya.
Peace. I need to check.